Merhaba arkadaşlar, hepiniz IEFT Talks webinarlarına hoş geldiniz. Bugün Langara College ile Kanada'da eğitimi ve yaşam avantajlarını Gregory'den dinliyor olacağız. Lütfen sorularınızı questions kısmından sormayı unutmayın. Yes, Gregory, the stage is yours now.
Thank you, Zeynep. Good afternoon or good evening, everybody who's tuning in. My name is Gregory Pokorny, Manager of International Marketing and Recruitment at Langara College in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. So thank you for joining. I really appreciate taking time out of your busy schedule. So I will give a presentation, should take maybe about 30 minutes or so, about Langara College, where we're located, the resources, the programs, the application process. Feel free to, if you have any question, please write in the chat box or the Q&A box, and we have about an hour, so we definitely have some time at the end where I can go through your questions and answer the questions. So I will start the presentation now, and again, please write your questions or any comments in the chat box, and we will get to them at the end of the presentation. Thank you. Okay, so Langara College, as I mentioned briefly, it is in Vancouver, and Vancouver is the third largest city in Canada and one of the top cities to live in the world. Usually it's rated as one of the most livable cities. It does have the nickname as Hollywood North. This is because of many motion pictures, film, movies, television. A lot of filming goes on in Vancouver and in British Columbia, and also known for mild temperatures. And when I say mild temperatures, I'm mostly talking about the winter time. So in the winter months, the average temperature is between 0 and 5 degrees, which, you know, could seem kind of cold, but when you compare it to other parts of Canada, when it's -10 or -15, maybe even lower than that, then 3 degrees or 5 degrees is quite a bit warmer and milder. So Vancouver is a very multicultural city with over 20% of the population born overseas. You can see the median age 42, and usually in BC it does have a low unemployment rate. The unemployment rate usually hovers around 5%. This is kind of before the pandemic, so hopefully coming out of the pandemic we will hit this total again. So there's usually quite a few jobs for people, and that's important for graduates when they graduate. They like to, if they are going to stay in Canada, it's important that they can find a job. All right, so we get a lot of questions about the college, or why they should consider college, or why it's a good option for them. And I've put some factors here on the slide, and you can see some of these factors when we compare a college to a university. So one of the factors to consider is the choice or flexibility in their study options. Many students maybe don't know what they want to study, you know, when they finish high school. So this allows them that they can take many different courses. They can find out what they like or what they don't like, you know, find out what they're good at, and then maybe concentrate on that. Adaptability is another factor. And what I mean here is when you're coming out of high school, the experience is not so overwhelming. We do keep the class sizes relatively small, 35 students or less. Science classes could be 25 or 20 students or less. So it's more like easier to go from the high school to the college, where it's kind of smaller class size. It's not like 300 or 200 or 300 students in a lecture hall. So it's a more kind of intimate academic setting. Grades are also very important. Langara works on an open access policy, and the grade requirements may be seen as not as strict. Of course, you need to have graduated high school. You need to meet the English language requirement. Even if you don't meet the English language requirement, you can start with LEAP and I'll talk about that program later. But most of the courses, if you have graduated high school, meet the English requirement, then you can gain admission to Langara. Now, some programs do have specific requirements. Some programs like engineering, they will look at the grades. You have to get a certain grade for engineering. So you may look at your physics, chemistry, math. But besides that, most of the programs, as long as you graduated high school and meet the English requirement. Course load is another factor. And what I mean here is at Langara, we work on tri-semester, 3 semesters a year. So students are able to spread out their courses, maybe take less courses every semester, and that allows them to get used to everything, allows them to spread out their course workload throughout the year. And the final factor, and this is a very important factor, that is investment. And when I talk about investment, I'm talking about the tuition fees. So at the college and at Langara, it is more affordable than university, the tuition fees. So you can see an example here on this slide. This is showing the tuition fees at different institutions in British Columbia. And this is for business programs. So this is for 30 credits, 10 courses, 1 year. And this is what the international students will pay in Canadian dollars. So at UBC, $51,000. Simon Fraser, $33,000. University of Victoria, just under $25,000. At Langara College, for the same courses, you will pay just under $19,000. So because we have the transfer, so students who start at Langara and do 1 year or 2 years, and then transfer to one of these institutions to finish their bachelor degree, they are saving themselves a lot of money in tuition fees. All right, so Langara College itself, it is a public community college. And when I say public, that means government funded. It has a DLI number, and students are able to work part-time during their studies. And when they graduate from Langara, they are eligible for the PGWP. And for PGWP, that means post-grad work permit. So most of the programs at Langara are 2 years. So any kind of 2-year associate degree, 2-year diploma, 2-year post-degree diploma, then you're eligible for 3-year post-grad work permit. We do have 1-year certificates. Keep in mind, if you do a 1-year certificate, your postgraduate work permit will be 1 year. So if it's 1 year, it matches 1 year. If it's 2 years, 2-year diploma, 2-year associate degree, 2-year post-degree diploma, then your postgrad work permit is 3 years. Okay, so as I mentioned, Langara is a public community college. The location is right in the heart of Vancouver, and we have the slogan, "Start here, go anywhere." This picture that you see on the slide is the downtown. You can see the tall buildings, and you can see the mountains there, the ocean. So it's right on the coastline. And on this slide, you can see where the campus is located. So at the top of the map is the downtown. So you can, this part here where you see the tall buildings. So there's the downtown at the top of the map. And if you follow the black line, that is the Canada line. It's the SkyTrain or Metro. So going from downtown, it goes all the way down to the Vancouver Airport, International Airport. And if you follow that Canada line, that black line, you can see from downtown at the top, you can see West Broadway campus, and you can see the main campus about halfway down. So from the main campus, it's 17 minutes to downtown Vancouver by SkyTrain. It's 15 minutes by SkyTrain to the Vancouver International Airport. If you want to take the bus to UBC, it's 15 to 20 minutes. It could be a bit longer depending on traffic, but by bus to UBC. And it's located in a very quiet residential area. The good thing is you cannot really get lost because the SkyTrain station that Langara College is at is called Langara 49th. So that's where you get off. You can see the picture there, and you walk 5 to 7 minutes and you're on the Langara campus. So the location is quite convenient, very accessible by public transportation. So just some other facts about Langara. It does have a long history. It was established in 1970. As I mentioned, the 3 intakes a year. You can see the enrollment numbers there, 23,000, so fairly large size community college. On any given term, because we have 3 semesters, about 16,000 students. About 1/3 of the students are international students, so coming from over 90 countries. Okay, some pictures of the campus. There's the aerial view. So as I explained, you can see the campus. There's the golf course behind the campus. If you look at that map, that picture, you can see the tall buildings there at the top of the picture by the mountains. That is the downtown. So that gives you an idea of where we're located. As I said, 17-minute SkyTrain ride to downtown. So the campus map there, you can see the facilities. T building is the tech building for science and labs. Library, of course, this big library, gymnasium. There is a medical clinic on campus. So there's a rotating doctor and nurse. Buildings A, B, C, Langara Student Union building, cafeteria, coffee shops, volunteer desk, and so on like that. Okay, so turning our attention to the resources for students, and one of the most important centers on campus is the Co-op and Career Development Center. And this center is important because it's a good way for connecting the students to employers. There's an online job board that's just for Langara students, and there's many workshops that are held there, career fairs, networking events, job fairs, a lot of workshops for interview practice, resume skills, resume building, and so on. So that center, a lot of students visit that center and get resources, get help and assistance for finding a job. Now, for the co-op, I'm talking about, in many different countries, it's called maybe different things, internship, work experience. In Canada, we call it co-op, and that means that it's a work term in your program. And sometimes it's mandatory, sometimes it's optional, but it means full-time paid work in your area of study. So as part of the program, you're able to work full-time. So instead of going to class, you will go to a company or go to an organization and work. You can see the hours there, 420 hours in 16 weeks or 4 months. And you apply the knowledge that you've gained, you develop those professional skills, and you submit a work term report instead of going to class. And you're able to still work your part-time job while you're doing this co-op. Okay, scholarships. We get a lot of questions about scholarships. At this current time, we have no entrance scholarship program, but we are developing one that will start from September 2022. It will be announced probably in December next month. It's just finalizing the last part of it, so it's not on our website yet, but I can tell you that we will have some entrance scholarship program for undergraduate. It will be a partial scholarship. Students will have to apply, and it will be based on academic achievement. But the scholarships that we do have are for the current Langara students, and those students can be full-time or can be domestic students or international students, but they have to be full-time students. And they're posted every term in every department. And those scholarships are posted every term, and those scholarships usually are between $1,200 and $2,000. Okay, I'd like to talk now about the accommodation, and keep in mind at Langara, we do not have a dormitory. There's no residence, there's no dormitory. All the students stay off campus at Langara. One option we do have for students is Langara homestay. That means you live with a Canadian family. The room and meals are provided. It's maximum 2 students in a house. So it'd be 2 male students or 2 female students. And each student would get their own private bedroom. So you know, 2 students in the house living with a family, but you get your own private room, and then you share the facilities, living room, kitchen, bathroom, and so on. So it's a good way to practice English, learn about Canadian culture, explore Vancouver. Usually they try to match the family with similar interests with the student. So that homestay department is in Langara. So if you were to apply to Langara and you wanted to look at this homestay, you just let me know, and I would put you in contact with the homestay department, and they handle the application and everything. They handle airport pickup and so on. Okay, so for the support for students, we have support that's available on campus, in person. We also have virtual support. So tutoring support, writing help, research, study skills, assistance. There's a community cafe to look into different topics. Counseling is very important, and there's a lot of counseling support for students. So personal counseling, career counseling, academic counseling, mental health counseling. So a lot of counseling available to students. They can make appointment with the counselors, with the advisors to get this kind of counseling or advice. Okay, Langara also has athletics or sports. So they do participate in sports. Again, they play against other institutions. So the 3 sports are basketball, soccer or football, and golf. And it's for male and female. So these are all student athletes. And keep in mind, if you do excel in one of these sports and you came to Langara and you tried out for the team and you made the team, then there would be significant savings in your tuition. You would get a big tuition discount. So it's not a sports scholarship, but you still have to, apply, meet the academic requirements. You have to get the visa. Then you come to Canada. Then you try out for the team. You make the team, and then you would get the tuition discount. So just keep that in mind if you excel in one of those 3 sports: basketball, soccer or football, and golf. Okay. I will now look at the programs at Langara and just brief update about the pandemic. So previous to September, we were online for a year and a half. But from September 2021, we've been doing this semester in person. So that was part of the plan announced by the ministry. And for January 2022, May 2022, September 2022, we are planning to the course content to be delivered in person as well, unless something drastic happens. Okay, so when we talk about programs, we ask the question, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? So you can see here listed the various programs, and I'll talk about each of these. University transfer, that means starting at Langara, then transferring to a 4-year university. We do have bachelor's degree programs, career program, 2-year diploma programs, post-degree diploma program or postgraduate. At Langara, we call post-degree, but it means postgraduate. And Langara English for academic purposes, LEAP. That means those that want to improve their English, academic English, and then go into regular studies. So university transfer, what this means is in British Columbia, in the whole province, there's a big transfer system in place. So students can start at Langara, transfer their credits to complete their degree at a university. And Langara is the largest transfer institution to UBC. So this shows the pathway. You can see start at Langara year 1. Then once you have at least 24 credits, it's about 1 year, then you can transfer into year 2 at a university because the credits that you've done at Langara are transferable. Now, many students will elect to stay at Langara and do 2 years at Langara. So they will complete an associate degree. So complete 60 credits. Then when they transfer, they're transferring into year 3. And then they're doing year 3, year 4 at the university, complete 120 credits, and then earn their bachelor's degree. So it's either a 1+3 or 2+2. 1 year at Langara, 3 years at the university, or 2 years at Langara, 2 years at the university. So keep in mind when you're transferring, some students are confused because they think, when I transfer, I'm going to start over at the university. You're not starting over from year 1 because you're transferring the credits. So you check the BC transfer guide, you can see, okay, I took, for example, I took biology 101 at Langara. I know that equals biology 120 at UBC. It's the same course. So those credits will transfer. So keep in mind, it's a 1+3 or 2+2. You cannot do 3+1. You cannot do 3 years at Langara and then do 1 year at the university and graduate. It doesn't work that way. So 1+3 or 2+2. And for the university transfer and associate degree, you can see there's many options, many various courses. I won't read all these, but you can see like in areas of arts, business, health, science and technology, humanities, social sciences, and so on. So those are all programs where you can start at Langara, do 1 year or do 2 years, and then transfer. Now, Langara does have a bachelor's degrees. We have a Bachelor of Science in Bioinformatics. We have a Bachelor of Business Administration, and we have a Bachelor of Recreation Management. All those mean that you do all 4 years at Langara. You're not transferring. You can do all 4 years for a Bachelor of Science in Bioinformatics at Langara. You can do a BBA, a Bachelor of Business Administration, 4 years at Langara in the School of Management, or you can do a Bachelor of Recreation Management. Now, the career programs, these are kind of 2 year or 1 year. These are diplomas or certificate. Limited enrollment, very practical, very hands-on learning, practical education. And these closely follow the workforce in Vancouver. So many of the students who graduate from these 2-year diploma will go into the workforce and start working after their 2-year diploma. And you can see here a lot of different options, business, fine arts, journalism, kinesiology, animation, early childhood education is very popular, criminology. These are just some of the 2-year diplomas. We also have 1-year certificate, for example, internet web technology. Film arts is very popular. Education assistant, social service worker, and so on. Now, post-degree diploma programs. These are what we call PDD, postgraduate, limited enrollment. The main requirement is you do need a bachelor's degree. Now, we get a lot of questions by email and ask at different webinars and events about master's degrees. Keep in mind, in Canada, master's degrees are administered by universities. Langara is a community college, so we do not have master's degrees. What we do have are these post-degree or postgraduate programs. So you do need a bachelor's degree, but it's not a master's degree. It's very practical education. There's a work term. And these are very popular. They're cohort-based, so that means limited seats. So we always advise apply early. So these are the 10 post-degree diploma programs. You can see like business administration, marketing management, accounting, web and mobile app. There's 2 programs for this: web and mobile app design, more on the front end user interface and so on, and then web and mobile app development, more on the back end programming and so on. Data analytics, health safety, nursing practice, supply chain and logistics is very popular because Vancouver is a port city. It's a big industry, and applied planning. And you can see the intakes that these are available. Now, we do have an English language requirement. Most of the programs at Langara fit into category 2 or category 3 for the English language requirement. If it's category 2, most of the diploma, post-degree diploma, you need an IELTS academic, 6.5. It has to be academic, not general. TOEFL, 88. And you can see in the red, we are accepting Duolingo online English tests. You need a score of 110, and we're accepting that for January, May, and September 2022. For category 3, that's most of the associate degree programs. You can see IELTS academic 6.5, TOEFL 80, and again, you'd still need 110 for Duolingo. Now, if you don't meet the English requirement, you can come to Langara and study LEAP. LEAP is Langara EAP, Langara English for Academic Purposes. This is 8 levels, and you can see each level is 7 weeks. So, and we have about 6 intakes every year for LEAP. And once you get to level 8, then you can get provisional conditional admission to some of the programs once you complete LEAP 8. So just talking briefly about the occupations, what happens after you graduate. These are some of the high demand occupations in Vancouver. This is not all of them, but you can see like IT, accounting, supply chain, which I talked about, early childhood educators, animation film because of the big animation film industry, advertising, marketing, web design, nursing. These are all high demand occupations in Vancouver. And just briefly, this is just showing you the Ministry of Labor by the BC government, the British Columbia government. They put out this market outlook for a 10-year window. So this is from 2019 to 2029. So right now, we're soon coming to 2022. So if you're coming to Canada to study, especially in BC, and let's say you get some credential, you get a diploma, or you get a certificate, or you get a bachelor's degree, you will be, have that option to get one of those where they expect a lot of new jobs in BC. So over 860,000 new jobs in BC expected during this 10-year period. So, but most of those jobs will go to people that have some credentials, so a diploma, a bachelor's degree, or graduate degree. So if you're coming to BC or to Langara, you're graduating, or you go to university, you're graduating from there, you're right in the middle of this kind of 10-year window. So keep in mind, this is from 2019 to 2029. They expect 860,000 new jobs. Okay, so just wrapping up here, talking briefly about admission requirements. So very simple, successful completion of high school, or if it's for PDD, you need a university degree. You have to meet the English requirement, but you can do LEAP, and then any additional program requirements. For the procedure, basically we have an online portal, application portal. Depends on the program. You submit your graduation, so your high school diploma, submit official transcript. The way we do this is Langara needs a scan, a PDF scan of your transcript and your diploma. Now, if the transcript or diploma is in Turkish or some other language, we need a notarized English translation. and that also has to be scanned in color in PDF format. So keep in mind, it has to be PDF. It has to be scanned in color from the original, so no cell phone pictures, and it has to be PDF and nothing cut off. And any kind of translation, we need English, notarized English translation. IELTS academic, your TRF, a copy of that, scan of that. TOEFL results sent from TOEFL, Duolingo sent directly from Duolingo to Langara. And then any other possible additional requirements you can see there. Depends on the program. Sometimes for example, fine arts, they want a portfolio. There may be interview, resume, depends on the program. So the procedure, once everything is submitted, the document evaluation, we're a little bit backlogged now, but it's about 6 weeks, hopefully sooner for complete applications. Once you meet the requirements, then an email offer letter is issued. And you accept that, you must pay initial tuition deposit of $6,000 Canadian. Once Langara receives that $6,000, then the official letter of acceptance is issued, the LOA. Then you apply for the Canada study visa from your home country, from Turkey. Now, you get the visa, that $6,000 that you paid, all that will go toward your first semester's tuition. You may have to top up a little bit more, but generally that $6,000 tuition deposit goes toward your first semester's tuition. If the visa is denied or refused, hopefully not, but it does happen, then we need the IRCC refusal letter. You can request for tuition refund, and we refund the full $6,000. So if you get the visa, that $6,000 goes toward your first semester. Every semester that you register for courses, then you pay. So you pay as you go, semester by semester. One other way is sometimes people they pay the $6,000, they get the LOA, and then maybe their circumstances change. They decide not to come to Langara, or they don't apply for the visa, or their family situation changes. So then they ask for the tuition refund. In that case, if you didn't get refused the visa, then Langara would most likely, they will keep $1,500 commitment fee, and then they refund $4,500. So there's a couple different scenarios there. Okay, so I'm just wrapping up here, and thank you for your attention. But I just covered here different aspects, why Langara, and what makes Langara a good choice. So as I talked about, it is a public institution, government funded, great location in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. So very beautiful city and centrally located. Largest university transfer program in BC and the largest to UBC. I talked about the smaller class sizes, lower tuition fees compared to universities, diploma certificate programs, career-focused training, able to do EAP, upgrade your English on campus. And if you're a Langara student, you're able to work off campus, and you're automatically eligible for the postgraduate work permit upon graduating from Langara. So there's my information, my contact information. So gpokorny@langara.ca. Somaz Marabani, my marketing assistant. You also can see her email there, smarabani@langara.ca. And you can follow our social media channels. You can see Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on like that. And yeah, so that brings me to the end of the presentation. Really thank you for joining. And I think we have enough time to go through your questions. So let me just... Okay, so I will just I see the chat and some questions here. Okay. Yeah, sorry, my room and background is so dark because it's 5:35 in the morning here in Vancouver, so it's still pretty dark and early. Thank you all for your warm hellos. Nice to be here. Thank you. Okay, so I just saw all the chat box. Thank you, everybody. Nice to be here.
Gregory, can you go to questions section? We
Yep.
have a lot of questions there.
Yep. I'm going right now. Yeah. Okay, so I don't know which. Okay, so I'll just start from the top. Could I have this presentation in case I missed some info? Yes. After the presentation, I will get a list of everybody who registered from the organizer from IEFT Talks, and I will send everybody more information, including the presentation. It'll be a PDF of the presentation, so you're able to look at the presentation. And I also believe on the IEFT Talks website, they put a recording of this webinar, so you can check that too. Okay, so I am aiming for a university degree in AI, software engineering, or cybersecurity. What are options in Langara? Lead me to those variety. Okay, so question here from Serang is talking about going to university for artificial intelligence or software engineering, cybersecurity. So at Langara, I mean, we do have computer science, of course, and computer studies. So we have that in a diploma, or we have that associate degree. As I mentioned, you can do 1 year university transfer. Once you transfer to the bigger university, we do not have cybersecurity or even software engineering or AI. So that would be something that you would concentrate and study on once you transfer to the university. So I believe that in that case, computer science, computer studies would be the way that you could start at Langara, do 1 year or 2 years, transfer the courses, and then go to the university to do one of those majors. Okay, Satine Fairo, what are the requirements for business management diploma program? Does it include co-op? Thank you. Okay, requirements for business management. We do, for the diploma in business management, it's 2-year diploma. Basically, you need to have graduated high school, and you also need to, you have to meet the English requirement. And there is co-op. Let me just a second here. Just to give me a second. Okay, so in the, I will put this in the chat box, but in the chat box, I put a link to our program guide. If you look in the chat box, everybody, you can see the link that I just posted. Click on that link. That is the program guide that shows all the courses, requirements, tuition fees for that you would look at for international students. And so for the business management, specifically for that one on page 3 at the top, it does have co-op option, and it does have that. So you would, in that case, you would do that co-op in the middle of after 1 year of the program. So it's a 2-year program, and you would do the co-op, and it would be for, as I said in the presentation, 4 months, and you would do it in the middle of the program. Okay, Sarang, also, if I decide to work after year 2, how much time do I get until I can start year 3 in university? So I think in this case, Sarang, I think you're talking, so if you studied at Langara for 2 years and then you were transferring to the university, you could work for, I mean, you need a work permit, right? So you would apply for the 3-year work permit. You could potentially work up to 3 years because the work permit is for 3 years. But if you did 1 year or 2 years, then you could transfer to the university. So it doesn't, it's up to you, but your work permit is for 3 years. Okay, Samet, do we need to submit a letter of intent? If yes, what it should, what is it to be included? Okay, so some programs do need a letter of intent. It just depends on the program. Like if I look at the post-degree diploma program, web and mobile, on page 6 of the program guide, it does require a letter of intent for that program. So you have to, in your letter, you have to say why you want to study web and mobile at Langara College, include the reasons, maybe your background, and so on. So it depends on the program. If it doesn't specifically say it needs a letter of intent for that program, then you do not need to submit a letter of intent. Okay, EC asks, which department is the most popular in Langara College? So I think what you're asking is what programs are very popular. A lot of, I mean, we have so many different programs, over 150 programs, and you know, almost 800 courses. So it does vary. I mean, a lot of students go into science, you know, your foundation science, biology, chemistry, environmental science, physics, and so on, health science. The Langara School of Management, business programs, the BBA, diploma programs in business, marketing, accounting, those are also very popular. And I would also say, like, programs, the social sciences, psychology, we have gerontology, social service worker. These are all very popular for undergraduate. And for post-degree diploma, the three, I guess, the popular ones: business administration, marketing, the web and mobile is very popular. Both streams, design or development, and also supply chain and logistics is very popular because a lot of people work in this industry. They have experience. Vancouver being a port city, it's a big industry as well. So, but I mean, there's so many programs, so I just wanted to mention some of those. Yeah. Thank you for your question. Okay, what is Fez, what is the difference of graduate diploma and graduate certificate? So at Langara, the certificates that we have, those are 1-year certificate. Those certificates are not graduate certificates. These are just 1-year certificate. It's not a postgraduate certificate, or you don't need a bachelor's degree for those. So, but for the post-degree diploma or postgraduate diploma, that's 2 years. Those are 2-year programs. So certificates are 1 year, but they're not postgraduate. But the post-degree is postgraduate. You do need a bachelor's degree, and it is 2 years. So that is the difference. Okay, Zate, sorry, I don't pronounce your name wrong, sorry. But if we cannot meet the language requirements, do we still have a chance to get accepted? Yes. So, you know, we as I talked about the language requirement, like 6.5 in IELTS or 110 Duolingo, 88 or 80 in TOEFL. If you don't meet that language requirement, you can apply to Langara EAP, LEAP. But when you apply, then you would apply for LEAP plus some other program. So on that program guide that I shared in the chat box, that program guide has there's a column called conditional admission. So when it says yes for conditional admission or a Y, if it says yes or a Y for conditional admission, that means you can start with LEAP, and then you can start with LEAP, and then you can go into regular studies. So yes, it's possible to get accepted. Not all programs have the conditional admission, though. Okay, Severa. Okay, okay, so I think that's translated. I'm a freshman in international trade and finance. Can I transfer to Langara? Can I get a scholarship? Okay, so if you're studying at a university now and you want to transfer some credit, it is possible. We do have credit transfer. There is a process, though. You have to submit a request for credit transfer form. Then you'd have to submit your transcript, your course outline, your syllabus. Everything has to be in English. Then it's reviewed by the department, and then then they would make a decision about the credits to transfer. It does take some time. And can I get a scholarship? As I mentioned, we will be announcing an entrance scholarship probably by the end of next month. Then you can apply for that. It will be starting from September 2022, and it'll be entrance scholarship. But besides that, any scholarship that we have are for the current Langara students. Okay, Zate, could you please inform us about the language requirements? I did talk about that. So basically, most of the programs at Langara fit Category 2 or Category 3. Category 2, 6.5 in IELTS academic. Same with Category 3. TOEFL, 88. And there's specific band requirements. And Duolingo, we're accepting for next 3 semesters, you need a score of 110. Okay, another Rehan Satek. I'm a senior student in international relations. I want to do a master's degree in Langara with scholarship. Okay, so how do I apply for scholarship? Do you have work permit? Okay, so first of all, as I mentioned in my presentation, Langara does not have master's degrees because we're a community college. We do have post-degree diploma. So please check the program guide in the chat box that I linked. Check page 6. You can see all the post-degree diploma programs. The scholarships do not apply to post-degree diploma programs, but not for the entrance scholarship, but there could be some scholarship once you get into the program. Do you have a work permit? Yes. Once you graduate from the post-degree diploma program, you are eligible for the 3-year postgrad work permit. Thank you for your question. Okay, Sarang also has a question again. Am I eligible to work during study, or can I get a work permit after studying? Yes, as I talked about in the presentation, all students, it's stipulated on your study permit. So when you're studying, when you arrive in Canada, you get the study permit issued to you. At the bottom of the study permit, it says, student may work off campus 20 hours a week. So during your studies, yes, you're eligible to work. Most students do, domestic students, international students, most of the students do work, and you're able to work 20 hours a week. During semester break, you can work full time. Can I get work permit after studying from Langara? I've answered this a couple times already. Yes, you are eligible for, with a graduation from Langara after studying, you are eligible for the work permit, 3-year work permit if you get a 2-year diploma or 2-year degree. Keep in mind that when you come to Canada, you're here to study as stipulated by your study permit. So if the program is 2 years and you study and you make reasonable progress and you graduate in 2 years, then you're eligible for the work permit. The issue becomes some students don't spend much time studying and they take maybe 3 years or 4 years or 5 years to do their 2-year degree or 2-year diploma. Then when they apply for their work permit, then they may not get the work permit because they didn't make reasonable progress. So just keep that in mind, that when you come here, you're here to be a student and you make reasonable progress, you finish the degree or your diploma on time or almost on time, then you're eligible for the work permit. It's just those students that don't study, spend here many years, then apply, then there's a chance they could be denied the work permit. Okay, I think I answered all the questions. So again, please copy the link in the chat box for the program guide, because that has all the programs. It has the requirements, the tuition fees, the intakes. The last page talks about the English requirements and so on. And I also put my email again in the chat box. Feel free to email me directly. But as I said, IEFT Talks organizers will send me the list of everybody who came to the webinar, and I will send a follow-up email with more information, links, and also this presentation, copy of the presentation, and there'll be a link for the recording as well.
Gregory, we have another question from Sarang.
Okay, I'm originally Indian citizen, but I live and study in Turkey. Is there a difference in so there's no difference. International student, Indian or Turkish student, there's no difference in the admission. It's the same requirements. We do have our own India department. So if you were to, let's say, if you emailed me and you wanted to get more information, or you wanted questions about specific program, or I don't know if you've done your high school in India, but I would turn this over to our India department, and they would help you out, because I don't know the India credentials and so on like that. But if you already got your bachelor's degree, maybe you did it in Turkey, then that's fine. Yeah, you're welcome.
Yes, thank you very much for the great presentation, Gregory. It was another fantastic session with you. It was really informative for the attendees, and you covered all of the questions. Thank you for your answers too.
Yeah, well, thank you everybody for taking time out of your busy schedule, and feel free to contact me directly. And as I said, I will follow up a little bit later after the presentation, and wish you all a good day, good evening, and stay safe.
I also would like to thank the participants in Turkish as well. Katıldığınız için teşekkür ederiz arkadaşlar. Langara Kalıcı ile ilgili diğer sorularınız için chat kısmında paylaşılmış olan mail adresinden Gregory'ye ulaşabilirsiniz. Umarım sizin için de faydalı bir webinar olmuştur. Aynı zamanda sizi alttaki webinarımıza da davet etmek isteriz. Thank you very much again, Gregory. It was a pleasure to have you in IEFT Talks.
Yeah, thank you everybody. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.